In November 2016, Wanda Dench sat at her kitchen table in Mesa, Arizona, doing something she had done dozens of times before. She picked up her phone and typed a message. It was almost Thanksgiving. For Wanda, Thanksgiving wasn't just a holiday. It was a tradition. It was routine. It was comfort. Every year, without fail, she cooked a large meal and invited her family over. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, everything prepared with care, the way she had learned from her own mother. This year was no different. She opened her text messages and typed, "Thanksgiving dinner at my house. See you at 3 o'clock." She smiled, hit send, and went back to planning the meal. What Wanda didn't know was that she had just sent that message to the wrong number. Miles away, Jamal Hinton was going about his day when his phone buzzed. He glanced at the message and frowned slightly. He didn't recognize the number. He read it again. "Thanksgiving dinner at my house. See you at 3 o'clock. For a moment, Jamal thought it was a mistake. Maybe someone had missed up to digits. Maybe it wasn't meant for him. Most people would have ignored it, deleted it, moved on. But Jamal did in single quotes instead. He replied, "Who is this?" A few moments passed. Then Wanda responded, "Your grandma." Jamal paused. He stared at his phone. He didn't have a grandma with that number. He hesitated. Then typed back, "You're not my grandma." Wanda immediately realized what had happened. She had sent the message to the wrong person. "Oh," she replied. "I'm sorry. I thought you were my grandson." That should have been the end of it. A brief awkward exchange, a small mistake, to strangers who would never think of each other again. But then Jamal typed something unexpected. "Can I still get a plate though?" Wanda laughed when she read it. Really laughed. Not a polite smile, not a small chuckle, a real laugh. She thought for a moment. Then she replied, "Of course you can. That's what grandmas do. Feed everyone." At that moment, neither of them knew that this joke would turn into a tradition, or that a single message would change both of their lives in quiet but meaningful ways. On Thanksgiving Day, Jamal drove to Wanda's house. He didn't know what to expect. He didn't know if she was serious. He didn't know if he was about to walk into an awkward situation. He knocked on the door. Wanda opened it. They looked at each other. And instead of hesitation, instead of discomfort, they smiled. She hugged him. Inside the house, the smell of food filled the air. The table was set. Wanda's family was there. Curious, but welcoming. Jamal sat down and ate Thanksgiving dinner with people who, just days earlier, had no idea he existed. Photos were taken, laughs were shared. And something quiet but powerful happened to strangers. Chose kindness instead of indifference. That Thanksgiving photo would later go viral. But at the time, it was just a moment. Just people eating together. Just warmth. After Thanksgiving, they stayed in touch. Text messages turned into phone calls. Holidays came and went. And then life, as it always does, brought challenges. In 2020, Wanda's husband Lonnie passed away. She was devastated. Grief settled into her daily life in ways she hadn't expected. The house felt quieter. Holidays felt heavier. Traditions felt fragile. Jamal stayed in touch. He checked on her. He listened. And when Thanksgiving approached again, Wanda hesitated. She wasn't sure she could do it. The cooking, the gathering, the memories. Jamal texted her, "Are we doing Thanksgiving this year?" She said yes. And once again, he came. This time, the meaning was deeper. It wasn't about a funny text anymore. It was about showing up. About not letting someone grieve alone. Over the years, their story reached millions. News outlets picked it up. People shared it online. It became known as the Thanksgiving text. But for Wanda and Jamal, it was never about fame. It was about connection. They became family, not by blood, but by choice. Every year, they continued the tradition. Every year, that one wrong text reminded people that kindness doesn't require planning, only willingness. And yet, the story was not finished, because life would test that bond one more time. And this time, the ending would matter even more. As the years passed, the story of the wrong Thanksgiving text quietly grew beyond a joke, beyond a viral moment, and into something neither Wanda Dench or Jamal Hinton had ever expected. It became a rhythm every year. As November approached, Jamal would text Wanda. And every year, Wanda would smile when she saw his name on her phone. Their conversations were never dramatic. They weren't scripted. They talked about everyday things: work, food, life, small frustrations, simple joys. Wanda asked Jamal how he was doing. Jamal checked in to make sure Wanda was okay. They didn't try to define what they were to each other. They didn't need to. In a world that constantly labels relationships, theirs existed comfortably without explanation. He wasn't her grandson. She wasn't his grandmother. But they were family in the only way that truly matters, by choice. When the story went viral after that first Thanksgiving, the attention was overwhelming. Media outlets from across the country reached out. Morning shows invited them to appear together. Headlines framed their connection as proof that kindness still existed. Wanda and Jamal smiled through the interviews, but privately, they laughed. Because for them, nothing had changed. They still texted. They still shared meals. They still showed up for each other. Fame faded quickly. Life did not. In 2020, the world slowed down. And for Wanda, the slowdown made the silence louder. Her husband Lonnie's death left a space that could not be filled. They had built decades together. Routines, habits, shared memories. After he passed, everyday moments felt heavier. Even the house felt different. Wanda didn't talk much about her grief publicly. She didn't dramatize it. She simply lived with it. Jamal noticed. He checked in more often. Sometimes he didn't even ask questions. He just sent a message. Thinking of you. Those messages mattered more than he knew. When Thanksgiving came that year, Wanda debated cancelling. The idea of cooking without Lonnie felt painful. The table felt incomplete. She almost said no, but Jamal asked anyway. Are we doing Thanksgiving? Wanda paused before replying. Then she typed, yes, we're doing Thanksgiving. That Thanksgiving wasn't loud. It wasn't filled with laughter the way earlier ones had been, but it was full of presence. They talked about Lonnie. They shared memories. They let silence exist without rushing to fill it. Jamal listened, not as someone trying to fix grief, but as someone willing to sit with it. That mattered. As time went on, Wanda's health began to decline. At first, it was subtle: fatigue, shortness of breath, small changes that could be brushed off as age. Then came the diagnosis. Cancer. The word landed heavy. Treatment followed. Doctor visits, uncertainty, days when Wanda felt strong, and days when she didn't want to get out of bed. Jamal stayed. He didn't pull away when things became uncomfortable. He didn't disappear when the story stopped being uplifting. He visited when he could. He called. He texted. He showed up in the ways that mattered. The internet watched from a distance, unaware of the quiet reality behind the viral story. They didn't see Jamal sitting with Wanda during hard days. They didn't see Wanda smiling when she saw his name on her phone. They didn't see the simple truth. This wasn't a headline anymore. This was real life. In 2021, Wanda's condition worsened. Doctors were honest. Time was limited. When Thanksgiving approached again, no one was sure what would happen, but Jamal knew what he wanted. One more Thanksgiving. Together. That final Thanksgiving wasn't about tradition. It wasn't about turkey or photos or social media. It was about presence. Wanda sat at the table, surrounded by people who loved her, some by blood, some by choice. Jamal sat beside her, exactly where he belonged. They didn't talk about the beginning of their story. They didn't need to. They talked about life. About gratitude. About moments that matter. Wanda smiled often that day. She was tired, but she was content. Not long after Wanda Dench passed away, the news spread quickly. People who had followed the story felt genuine grief for a woman they had never met. Messages poured in from strangers thanking her for reminding them that kindness still mattered. Jamal shared his own tribute. He didn't make it poetic. He didn't make it dramatic. He made it honest. She was my friend. She was family. I will miss her. That was enough. In the days that followed, Jamal reflected on how a single decision had changed his life. He could have ignored the message. He could have laughed privately and deleted it. He could have chosen indifference. Instead, he chose curiosity. Then kindness. And that choice created years of memories, comfort during grief, and a connection that neither of them ever expected. People often describe this story as a miracle, but Jamal describes it differently. He says it was a choice to respond. A choice to show up. A choice to treat a stranger like family. Wanda Dench did not leave behind fame. She did not leave behind wealth. She left behind something quieter and more powerful. Proof that kindness can begin with something as small as a reply. Proof that family can be found. Proof that one moment of openness can ripple outward in ways we never see coming. Every Thanksgiving now, Jamal still remembers. He remembers the first text. He remembers the laughter. He remembers the loss. And he carries the tradition forward, not as a ritual, but as a reminder that the world doesn't change through grand gestures. It changes through simple ones. A message answered, a door opened, a seat at the table offered to someone who didn't expect it. And that is why this story endures. Not because it went viral, but because it was real, because it was human, because it ended not in tragedy, but in connection. And sometimes that is the happiest ending of all.